It's game time. The Kid Gowie. Ravens Nation. All we know is purple and black. And if you're not a Ravens fan, Welcome to Baltimore, Maryland, M&T Bank Stadium, where opponents don't make it out alive unless we bury them. Every team be afraid of them, especially all the quarterbacks, cause our defensive linemen won't hesitate to leave you sack. Let's take a minute, go back to Super Bowl 35. Domination was an understatement up against the Giants. Numerous touchdowns, they put up numbers, and it didn't take a nutritionist to see they hunger. Only stat Kerry Collins could get was interceptions. He must have thought throwing to the D counted as receptions. The pass was legendary, but don't sleep on the present. Our secondary make quarterbacks avoid their direction. You tryna run the ball, you better hope your blockers work. You can juke, you can spin, but your destination's the turf. This is a man's game, being soft will get you hurt. Watch the defense force a fumble and the fans go berserk. 17 weeks, only one league out of 32 squads. No one's messing with our team. We all bleed black and purple, you can check our IVs. Raven Nation fly high, watch us all spread our wings. Put your game face on, embarrass the competition. You ain't talking about the greatest if the Ravens aren't mentioned. Screw every other team, cause those dudes are whack. In Baltimore, the only thing we know is purple and black. Go! They always win when the championship's on the line. So if you hoping that they failed, then you really wasting your time. Go and ask the 49ers, I'm pretty sure they remember when they made a comeback, but weren't declared the winners. 2 rings down, but you know they won't stop now. If the opposing D's caught slipping, you know exactly how that goes. That's another deep connection for 6 points in the end zone. The stadium goes wacko, as Ravens put in work. Pittsburgh Steelers, that still curtain is looking more like a skirt. So tell me who they say is gonna beat them Bengals. Who used to beat the Browns until they relocated? Ravens, they are one of the greatest. There's simply no denying it. To beat them, bringing your A-game's a requirement. With the youth of the team, I bet they still be dominant, even after the greatest linebacker's retirement. 17 weeks, only one league out of 32 squads. No one's messing with our team. We all bleed black and purple, you can check our IVs. Raven Nation fly high, watch us all spread our wings. Put your game face on, embarrass the competition. You ain't talking about the greatest if the Ravens aren't mentioned. Screw every other team, cause those dudes are whack. In Baltimore, the only thing we know is purple and black. Go!
Welcome. We are here. Football is back, baby. We are in. By the way, if you're here and watching, give me a quick mic check if you can. I'm putting new microphone, new equipment, so make sure.
Okay, the voice probably sounded weird because I was playing with some stuff. Make sure the mic sounds good. Give me a quick mic check. Anyway, we're here. Football's back, baby. We are here Thursday night football season opener. Great season opener by the NFL. Great pick. Ravens, Chiefs. Great. Also, first game to see how your team stack. Now, the Ravens, and we're going to talk about the Ravens. They have some things. They're up in the air, right? We're trying to figure out where we are, how we're going to be. I just sent a message to Jeff. Serie B, shout out to him. He does great. By the way, that Kid Gowie song hits different. Every time I hear it, especially in a season opener, it just hits different. So shout out to him. Great guy too. A guy that if you ever talk to him, dude is super, super nice. Saying that, we are here, and the guest will come soon, but we're here on the season opener. And what is the biggest question mark? And what is my biggest fear when it comes to this Baltimore Ravens, right? And it's the thing that people know me for the most, I think, is offensive line, right? Offensive line is my biggest concern. And then you go against a team, the defensive line of that team is pretty good. You talk about Jones. Chris Jones is, now that Aaron Donald's not in the league, I think hands down, he's number one, right? And then you talk about Kurt Loftus, a guy that I like coming out of that draft. He's another good one. So I want to see how our right tackle, which I think is gonna be Rosengarten, but if it's not Rosengarten, it's McCarry. Whoever it is, can they hold against him, right? Against Karloftis and company. And then second, more important is that inside. There's no worse pressure for a quarterback than that inside pressure is our guards, right? Whoever our guards is, right? Can it be Ben Cleveland? Can it be Fahalele? I think last time I saw they were leaning Fahalele and oh my god, I'm blanking on this guy's name. He catched 2 punts today. Voorhees. So Fahalele and Voorhees. So they were leaning in those. I was surprised if Fahalele was winning that job. I don't know what Ben Cleveland's issue is, but he cannot win the job. This job was there for him to win the right guard position. We can be surprised. I'm just saying that, but we can be surprised. It could be Ben Cleveland and Voorhees. Looks like Voorhees is pretty locked into that left guard position. And the left tackle position is Stanley, and Linderbaum's going to be your center. And the right tackle, I think it's going to be Rosengarten. Saying all that, when we look at this O-line, that interior O-line has to worry you when you go against a guy like Chris Jones. Completely has to worry you. Now, I haven't heard, or we'll talk about that later, where you can exploit this team, the Chiefs. And like I said, we're going to have Haley Thomas soon coming in to the live stream. When you can exploit this team is, in my opinion, against this linebacking core, if you pass that second level, the safeties in that linebacking core, can you have Ken Henry running in that second gear, right? Can he go past that first level and go to the second level, second gear? If you do that, I think it will be a problem for the Chiefs. And I think that's how this offense should operate. It should operate. And I know you guys are going to tell me, Sonny, but we have Lamar Jackson. We want to throw more of the ball. And I don't want, and I'm hoping Lamar doesn't fall into the trap like, oh, look at Pat Mahomes. He's throwing the ball. Because Pat Mahomes will come here sometimes and not throw as much, and he will run the ball. And he's not looking to pat his stats. I want Lamar not to do the same. Oh, the running game is working. Let's pound the ball. I think you keep him honest, and then you hit them with the passes, right? You have Flowers, right? They do have 2 good corners in McDuffie and Williams. They lost Snead. Obviously, thank you. Because Snead was the one basically that put that nail in the coffin in that game when he strip fumbled that game or that ball against Zay Flowers. But Zay Flowers had a decent game against them, right? And then you have Mark Andrews coming healthy. Who's guarding Mark Andrews? I don't know. To be honest, who from then can guard Mark Andrews? I'm not sure. Shout out to Lex, to Thomas Morgan. Shout out to Alexander Gillen. What's up, bro? Well, it's been a long time. I know, man. Football's back. I'm going to be back every week to preview all these games. Saying that, yeah, so I think you have matchup problems when you think about your – oh, we have Haley here, so I want her to be on the conversation. Again, big shout out to her. How are you doing, Haley?
Hey, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming. So I was just breaking down what I think is going to happen or where I see matchups. And this is why I wanted you, because I like to have discussions and pushback and all that. So I appreciate you coming.
Yeah.
So when you were here, what I was saying is the O-line is the biggest on our offense. So I'm talking perspective. You guys just defense against our offense.
Okay.
Our O-line worries me. Right? If you look who's our starting 5, you won't find it because they haven't said it. We switched 3 O-linemen. Our right tackle's new, our left guard's new, and our right guard's new. Mm-hmm. Not only that, they're new. These people didn't play last year. Whoever we picked didn't play last year. Mm-hmm. We're talking about Voorhees. I think it's going to be the left guard. He was injury reserve last year. Right guard might be a guy named Fahalele. He came into the league as a right tackle from Minnesota. I hate him as a tackle. Every time he gave me PTSD, every time I saw him there in the tackle position, they put him as a guard. He got slow feet. I think that might be better for him. But okay, we'll see. Because Chris Jones on the other side.
Yeah.
And then on the right tackle position, you get Pat McCarry. He is our utility guy. I think he'd be fine. But we drafted Rosengarten. I think he's gonna be the one winning the job.
Hmm.
You guys have Karloftis, a guy I love coming out of the draft. I wanted us to draft him. Not that I hated our draft pick that year, but a guy that I did like a lot. And then Chris Jones. Those are the two main guys that you have, right?
Sure.
I'm worried. I think that is our weakest point.
Hmm.
What do you think, or how do you think this O line of the Ravens, that again, big question mark against your D line, is gonna face or match up?
Yeah, I think it's tough. You said the O line's probably your biggest weakness. I think you're right in that. I think getting the ball, pounding the rock is probably your best thing going into this one, and trying to avoid what you guys did in the AFC Championship game. I'm not really sure against the logic behind that offensive
Me neither.
game plan in that one, but I think your biggest strong suits would be, get Henry the ball, but also Lamar using his own legs as well, and be able to utilize that. It's going to be very hard to get past the defensive line. A guy, especially you mentioned it, George Karlaftis, you got Chris Jones. The line is pretty sound, but I think the linebacker core is maybe where you could exploit some weaknesses for Kansas City. And then also, they lost L'Jarius Sneed. Yes, Trent McDuffie is phenomenal, and yes, Joshua Williams and a lot of that core back there is good as well. But really, who in the cornerback position is going to be able to lock down some of y'all's receivers is going to be a big question. So yes, the offensive line is obviously something that Kansas City wants to exploit. It's hard to sack a guy like Lamar Jackson, but I definitely think the pressure is going to be there. Do they make it to him in time? We'll have to see. But this one's going to be hard. There's a lot of changes that happen in the off seasons for both the Chiefs and the Ravens. So I'll be curious to see how it all pans out.
And you guys lost some pieces, but I actually think last year I thought the Chiefs team was a little bit weaker. And I think this Chiefs team, at least on paper for me, look a little bit stronger. Now, we keep talking about how this defense is offense stacks. I was saying before you came to the stream that if the Ravens can break that first layer, right, that D line, and go to the second layer, safeties and linebacker, and Henry is in a full head of steam, then that's going to cause problems, right? And then that will break the defense, how the defense is playing, because now you have to bring the defense down. I agree with you. For some reason, specifically in the playoffs, and this is something that baffles me, the Ravens can be a running team for 17 games now, used to be 16 games, and then they come to the playoffs like, you know what? I'm going to show you I can beat you just throwing the ball. Doesn't matter, we can run. But, we're going to throw it. And I'm hoping that's not the case in this game, because time of possession will be critical. If you can keep the ball, you can keep your defense fresh. It's a good offense. That's what I think that the Chiefs came better this year. I think the defense took a step back. I think the offense took a step forward.
Sure.
McDuffie, another guy I love. I think him and Zay Flowers is going to be a great battle. Smaller frame guys, quicker frame guys, or quicker guys. I think it's very interesting in that battle. But on the other side, I was saying tight ends. I think we're going to play more because we're going to run the ball. I think they're going to project a 2 tight end set.
Okay.
I want to see, that's what I'm assuming, because other than Zay Flowers, the next receiving course are Ravens fans will tell you they're good, but they're unproven. But in the tight end position, and the tight end position, we have Mark Andrews healthy, and that playoff, right? He was coming back from injury, and then we have Isaiah Likely. So I want to see if we can play 2 tight ends, show run, have them there in space, and I think that's another matchup that they can exploit against the tight ends. But I would like to hear what you think.
I'll be curious to see how the Ravens offense especially goes. I just think it's really coming down to game plan, because I think we could sit here and pick apart who is on what sideline and who brings in who. But really, I'm more curious schematically to see what the Ravens are going to put on the field. I was so confused during the championship game. I was also very confused why it's not about, you'll see Patrick Mahomes go out there many times, and it's not always about Mahomes' magic, right? Like, you don't need to always see the flashiness from the Ravens offense. It's just get the ball down the damn field, right? So I'm curious to see how they attack the game. Yes, you're pointing out some good points. I do think that the Chiefs defense as a whole, potentially took some big hits and step back. We'll have to see if they can continue to build off of Spagnuolo's defensive unit and how he does things. But the offense, I think, is getting much better for Kansas City. So seeing the matchup between these two, I think where the Ravens exploit the Chiefs is definitely going to be anything past the defensive line on the defensive side of the ball. I think that's where they exploit Kansas City. And I think where Kansas City is going to exploit the Ravens is potentially the fact that they're not equipped for what's going on with the Kansas City speed and the offense that they have this year. They've had speed before. It just hasn't looked like this. This is they're extending the game down the field. It's something that we haven't been used to seeing since Tyreek Hill was here in Kansas City. Now, we don't have Hollywood Brown, which is unfortunate to not have him during week 1, which I'm sure you guys are very familiar with him. But I think that this one's going to be pretty evenly matched. It might even come down to who can handle the mental stability around it. It's a banner night. It's at Arrowhead Stadium. You guys know how loud it is there. It sucks to not be the Chiefs playing at Arrowhead Stadium. So I'll be curious if it really comes down to that rather than personnel, because again, we're at week 1. There's a lot that's unproven and a lot of people unproven as well.
But Thomas here says, I'm hyped about seeing the first Wiggins-Worthy matchup. They should be better in the next several years. And let's flip it a little bit here, because when we talk about Chiefs offense, and you alluded to it, the Chiefs went and said, okay, our receivers last year were sus.
Very sus.
Right. And they said, let's get better. And when they got better with speed. They said, 50-50 guy, that's Travis Kelce. The rest of the guys are just going to be quick guys that just can blaze, right? Ravens brought a rookie like you guys. Both of them are proven. I think Morty is going to be great for that offense. I think Wiggins for us is going to be great. We'll see. Like you said, week 1, I think sometimes we all hype rookies that much because we all in our minds think of the best potential. This great thing is going to happen, right? But they're rookies. There are going to be mistakes. Okay, so I'm going to actually I understand the comment, Thomas Morgan, but I'm going to actually take the rookies away. I'm just not even going to count. Let's talk about same thing, because I think, and this is going to sound super cliche, but the trenches are going to be so key in this game. Who can put pressure on the quarterback? When you blitz Mahomes, he's going to tear you apart. If you blitz Lamar Jackson and you don't get to him, he's going to also tear you apart. It could be with his legs or his arm, right? So this is going to be key. Without blitzing, who can protect this quarterback the most? And I would say right now the advantage is Chiefs. That interior O-line on the Chiefs is proven. You guys are stout. Now, the ends. Now, the other thing is our ends, our outside backers are also kind of unproven, but no one had a great year. Olafe is looking to be his markup year. We have David Ojabo that when he plays, he's good, but he's been injured a lot. But he's going to be in this game. So I'm going to ask you about your tackles specifically. What is your expectation about your tackles in this game? You have
we got Trey Smith.
Yes. Taylor?
Right. Yeah, Jawan Taylor. Yeah, he's been hurt with a shoulder injury. So Jawan Taylor on the left. We got Trey Smith on the right. Of course, you guys know center Creed Humphrey. Then you got Joe Tooney. Yep. Basically, it's the thing that's hard about this when looking at the O-line. So Jawan Taylor's been one of those guys who you saw it the first couple weeks of the season last year. He was the most penalized offensive lineman in the entire NFL. He was getting false start after false start. We almost even joked about him putting on a different jersey going out there so that they would call it against someone else. It was a tough thing. And you could tell that, the league does what they do, right? They obviously were going to crack down on that, and they were making a point out of it. And he just happened to be the example of it. It happens. But that was something that translated into a lot of pressure and a lot of reworking on the O-line. Now, the O-line, if anyone, the coaching tree that Andy Reid comes from, O-line is his baby, right? That's what he coached. That's always his thing. He wants very versatile offensive linemen. He bolsters it up every single year. And we saw when they played Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl how poorly the offensive line played. And it was almost like Brett Veach and Andy Reid were like, never again. This will never happen again. They cleaned house, and it's been solid ever since that rookie class of Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, Nick Bolton, of course, who's a linebacker. But that's the rookie class I'm talking about who came in ever since then. So I think when you look at the tackle position specifically, I think Trey Smith is solid. That guy, he blocks. He goes so far downfield with his blocks that it's insane. Jawan Taylor is really probably your biggest weakness at the tackle position. And I think that they, can exploit getting him off his game. that could be potentially something that they do. But
Okay.
also he's dealing with a little bit of a shoulder injury. He left training camp towards the end with the shoulder injury, stayed a little bit of the preseason time out as well, nursing it. So that's going to be one of those situations to monitor. But yeah, the rotation of the O-line is good. It's also the O-line can be as good as they can be, but you got a guy like Patrick Mahomes who could play so well in and out of the pocket
Mhm.
that it doesn't make you worry as much. But I think advantage goes to the Chiefs on O-line. However, get Juwan Taylor off his game, penalize the heck out of the Chiefs, and it's a different story.
Yep. Now, so I had Trey Smith as a guard. So you say he's gonna play the left tackle because I had they have you guys here with Kingsley Swamataya.
Oh, did I say? Oh my gosh, I completely got off. I went on a tangent. You gotta forgive me because I've also been talking for 3 hours straight. We already did like 3 different streams today.
I'm sorry. Thank you for coming again.
No. My apologies. Yes, left tackle. Left tackle is the rookie Kingsley
Yeah.
Suamataia. So I was getting off base talking about Juwan Taylor, Trey Smith. My apologies. So left tackle was between him and Wanye Morris back and forth, and it looks like it's going to be Kingsley. So that's going to be an interesting one. He's a rookie. We'll have to see what happens. I think Matt Nagy, offensive coordinator for Kansas City, was talking about him today, and even Coach Reed saying, "What do you want to see out of him?" And they're like, "Well, there's going to be mistakes. You know, they're going to go out there and they're going to figure it out. He's proven as much as he can during training camp, but." Yeah, we got to figure it out. Damn, you should have cut me off a long time ago.
That's okay.
I was talking about the wrong position, and here we are making this whole other thing up. And like I said, apologies. My brain is a little busted after all that we've done today.
My thing with Taylor, look, I don't think the Chiefs do a lot of bad signings. I thought that Taylor was awful. Like as soon as you guys signed, I'm like,
well, for the money amount, I can agree.
Yes, exactly. If he would have been just close to the minimal, fine. But you sign him more than what you were paying, or you pay more than Orlando Brown Jr. is making with the Bengals.
That's another Chiefs saga chapter. We don't need to revisit.
Hey, you guys inherited it from us because we traded it. I hated that trade, by the way.
Yeah.
Talk about a trade that I hated, not because we traded it to you, because he was a premier guy coming up, and to be honest, you guys gave the equivalent of a late second round in total. And I was like, what? Is that all you're going to get for this guy? But anyway, I know he didn't play as expected for you guys. I think you guys were hoping that he was just going to be your left tackle for 10 plus years. And I thought he was a good right tackle, and he just wanted to be a left tackle like his dad. But anyway, that's long story going. That's why I think the tackle, that's going to be another matchup that I'm looking forward to watch how your tackles are gonna do with our outside backers. Now, different from the other side, there are guards have not a lot of experience. You guys have one of the best in Chris Jones, or the best in Chris Jones on the inside. Yeah. We don't have the best on the outside necessarily exploited, and we have a new defensive coordinator. That also intrigues me. How is he? Because Mike McDonald used to just like, if I tell you, I'm sure you study who we have, but before, who's the Ravens outside backers? You were like, I don't know. Dude X, dude Y, I don't know. That guy, right? Who knows, right? I know because I follow the Ravens, obviously, but the Ravens, since Terrell Suggs haven't have a premier outside backer, so Terrell Suggs has been out for a while.
Which I will also say thank you for him. Thank you. That's one that we did like, so thanks.
Yeah, that hurts. That hurts. But anyway, since him we haven't had an outside backer, we had tried with a high draft pick, we haven't been successful. So this is a perfect game for these young guys to see if they can elevate, because you have a rookie, unproven rookie, and like Coach Reed said, and I will say the same thing for our rookie on the other side. They will make mistakes.
Yeah.
And you have Taylor that I'm sorry, I never believe in Taylor. I think he is average at best. So if these guys on the outside backer think that they're talking, this is a good game for them. This is a game that should be exploited. Now, another guy that I love, Puerto Rican roots, my guy Pacheco. I love him.
He's a funny interview too. I'll tell you that. That kid has got a lot of character. He's a kid who's had a really rough background too, and he came into this thing and he gave it his all. But he just is always laughing, always joking. Which is funny. And I didn't mean to cut you off, but him and Drew Tranquil, one of our linebackers, they have this ongoing feud that, I
Really?
mean, they will just go at it during practice. And to see the passion that this kid has, he just, you see it. He runs angry. He is a
Yes.
very angry elf on that field. And
Love
it's
it.
hilarious to watch because he gives it 120% every single time. So I love that you love Pacheco because he's very well liked here.
I love him. People will call me biased because I'm Puerto Rican and I know he's from
That's not, that's just
my
love it. That's totally fine. You're allowed to do that.
But so we lost Patrick Queens, and Patrick Queen was our blitz guy, go on the backfield, and then Roquan Smith is the guy who I'm gonna clean everybody's mess, right?
Right.
I will look if we go back to last year's playoff game, Pacheco and Kelce were the how this team was moving.
Yeah.
Kelce in the first half, and we haven't talked about him, right? Kelce just ate us alive in that first half. And in the second half, even though it wasn't like stat wise, oh my God, Pacheco killed us, but he was doing just enough. Because the defense of the Ravens played really good against Kansas City. Really good. The offense or the defense from Kansas City was the one that our offense and the defense for Kansas City was the one that won that game.
Yeah.
Our defense was doing great against Pat Mahomes, except for that long pass at the end again for Valdez Scandling, right? Saying that, I want to see what we do against Pacheco.
Okay.
Because I want to make sure our game plan should be we're going to stop Pacheco to less than 3 yards per carry. And we are going to force Mahomes to beat us with his arm. And he's more than capable, but you need this team to be one-dimensional.
Yeah,
because
you
if
do.
Pacheco's running well, then GG. Just book it. Just done. If Pacheco's running well, then all you need is play action, and they have speed. You guys have weapons to just move the ball. So our D-line is really good. I was talking about our outside backers not being known. When I say that is up for pass rush, or against the run, they're really good. And we have Maravike, just got paid. Travis Jones. We have Michael Pierce. We have a really good, solid D-line. We never for that interior D-line. So that interior D-line needs to be solid. Trey Simpson, not a rookie middle linebacker, but he was a rookie last year. He didn't play because we had Patrick Queen. He had a year to learn. This is his year to step up. Very curious because same way is Patrick Mahomes going to deceive him, right? And put him in bad spots because, he's going to be thinking too quick.
Yeah.
And then how is he going to handle Pacheco? Because Pacheco is really good in cutting. Is he going to overcommit? And then he's just going to bail. And Pacheco now has, instead of a 2-yard or 3-yard run, a 10-yard run. I don't know. What do you think, Pacheco? Because I know you like him. Again, established that. I like him too. But what do you think is going to happen?
I mean, he's a hard kid to stop, that's for sure. And when you give him, any sliver of an opening, he's gone. And it's a hard guy to bring down too, as well. I mean, you've seen his tape, you've watched him, and especially against the Ravens, he's a hard guy to stop. So I think the thing with Pacheco, and you mentioned it, make the game one-dimensional, right? If you have Patrick Mahomes' run game going well as his arm, there's just no chance for it. But I think that's a good place to start. Also, I'm not sure if you guys know that CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, was just put on the NFI today. So now you got a guy like Samaje Perine, who's more filling the role that was left behind by Jerick McKinnon, coming in, who has not played with his team. Obviously, he's been with Denver, but he's going to have to learn things quickly if he's going to be filling a void to be, popping in at the number 2. We have this guy, Carson Steele. He's been playing as a fullback, kind of replacing what we had in Anthony Sherman years back and a Michael Burton. So that will be interesting to see how they use the backfield. But I think you're spot on. Slowing down Pacheco would be your number one thing, but it's hard to get in that kid's head. He doesn't seem like and again, outside looking in and just from conversations, does not seem like a kid who gets mentally rattled. There are players that you can get inside their head. We've seen it before. We see guys even like Jamar Chase, who's just phenomenal. He's obviously a head case. You see people get in his head. He gets real salty where he won't even admit certain things, and it just happens. So I think getting in his head is not going to be the way to do it. It's going to be more what's the pressure? Can you plug the hole? Can you get him to the sideline? Things like that. But if you could stop his run game, then you actually have a good advantage because they're going to find so many other ways to do it. It's going to be, for me, more where does the Ravens focus go on the Chiefs offense? Which part of it are they going to really focus on picking apart? Are they going to put their focus on Travis Kelce? Are they going to put their focus on maybe, the receivers? Is it going to be an Isaiah Pacheco? Is it going to be getting in Mahomes' head? Because I'm not sure you can get in that guy's head.
No, you can't. No, you can't. No way. And then the thing with, I think that they need to figure out how they can be good in base. How can they disguise in base, right? I actually would like to see, because I think he did a decent job. Obviously, Kelsey's Kelsey, but I
Yeah.
want to see Hamilton again on Travis Kelce. I
Mm.
want to see, and if he beats him, he beats him. But I want to see him again, 1-on-1, when we have to go. And if he beats him, he beats him. On the corner side, look, again, Wiggins and Worthy, as we discussed, there's 2 rookies. We'll see who has the better of the rookie.
I like that matchup too. Kind
Yeah,
of same
both
size
good.
body. Like
Yeah.
it's going to be a good one.
Yes, that should be a fun one. That should be a fun one. And then who you say your second receiver is? Rasheed Rice or Watson?
So yeah. So Watson would be number 4. Obviously, I mean, if Hollywood was playing, right, Hollywood Brown would be number 1. Xavier Worthy would fall number 3 behind Rasheed Rice. He would be our number 2. So that whole situation with him, though, is kind of, we're waiting to hear if he's going to be suspended.
Weird that they haven't said anything by now.
So there are 2 civil cases brought against him. Those court dates have been set, but the NFL seems to be more concerned with the criminal case, right? The felony charges. So they're waiting for that trial to be set. It hasn't been set yet. And until it's set, he's going to play in the interim just like normal. So it might be some late season suspension that happens. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, to answer your question, Rasheed Rice would fall at number 2. Justin Watson's more of a number 4 guy, but he'll kind of fill the role of Hollywood Brown a little bit more that now he's gone.
Got it. So we have, I think our corners potentially match well against your guys' receivers.
Mm-hmm.
I think our safeties, right? We have Williams as a free safety. So if Mahomes throws a bomb, I think they're gonna have him play a little bit off, as a center field, especially if they bring Kyle Hamilton in. And I think he's good at ball hawking, and potentially can have a pick here or there. Mahomes not afraid to throw the ball because he has the arm talent.
Sure.
The question is, can you bait him? Right? He's not easy to bait. Can you bait him?
Mm-hmm.
And the only way you can bait him is, and I will say this again, pressure without blitzing.
See, that's the thing. How are you gonna? That's hard though, because
that is hard.
Ravens are blitz happy, and I mean, but
we used to be super blitz happy. Then we haven't been as blitz happy.
Sure.
And now the question again: new defensive coordinator.
What's he gonna do? Yeah.
What's he gonna do? And you have Andy Reid on the one side, genius offensive guy, and you have a 34-year-old, I think is Zach Orr, defensive coordinator, super young. We'll see what he does.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. Look, I was saying also before you came, great matchup to start the year.
Oh yeah, they got it right. They picked it perfectly for opening night.
So that being said, so we don't have to beat the horse a little bit too much. What do you think is gonna happen? What is your score prediction? I'm gonna put you on the spot. I'll put myself on the spot as well. But what is your score prediction?
Yeah, this one's tough. I go back and forth because the feeling, I guess, and maybe I can ask you what the feeling in Baltimore is, because the feeling here is just a lot of excitement. I think that people in Kansas City know that Baltimore hasn't forgotten what happened, as much as guys want to stand at the podium and say that last year is behind them. And even this is my 6th year covering the team. Even being in the media rooms with the players, and they're like, oh yeah, the last year, this is a new year. There's a sliver of last year in their mind. They can't technically let it go. So I think that there's a lot coming in already riding on this game, and then it's week 1. So does the whole world fall apart if your team loses in this? No, but this is the stuff that comes into play when December rolls around, and this is where the seeding, right? And it's like, no, it doesn't necessarily matter how you play in September, but the seeding when it comes down towards the postseason is really going to play into factor with these 2 AFC games. So I think that Kansas City will win by icing it with a field goal.
Mm-hmm.
I think a Harrison Butker field goal is going to seal the deal for Kansas City. Oh, score prediction. I don't even know if I want to go on record saying this. 24-21, KC?
24-21. Okay.
Lock it in.
I will say this. People say that September doesn't matter, because I hear this. September, whatever. But what you said is perfect. Seeding, if you're a playoff team, every month matters.
Yeah.
Can you have a slump? Sure. But that means then you might not get a seeding. Like Let's be honest. The Ravens last year had the perfect seeding. The Chiefs went to Baltimore.
Yeah, they had.
Right? So, and that's what you want. The Ravens had a bye, right?
Mhm.
That's what you want. That's what matters. Now, it doesn't matter if you are and I'm not trying to diss no team, but if you
No,
think
you're
you're
fine.
just a marginal playoff team,
Yeah.
then, well, you're gonna go to the road, whatever. So you're just trying to stack wins whenever you can get them. So if you take a couple L's early and you can get the W's later, it's
Mhm.
okay. It's irrelevant, right? You just need to be the right team. But if the Ravens had the aspiration, as they say, so does the Chiefs. Every game matters.
Yeah,
No
this one
game.
especially.
In the case of the Ravens, and again, not trying to do this to the conference, but the conference of the Ravens is extremely hard. You talk about you have the Browns there, which I think they might be the best defense in the league, and then you have the Bengals with Joe Burrow healthy again.
Mhm.
Two teams are coming for the Ravens. So yes, seeding and every W matters.
Yeah.
This is
I
gonna be
will
hard. Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, no, no, I was just gonna say, you don't think the AFC West is tough? You know, the Broncos and the Chargers and the Raiders that
Uh,
the Chiefs lock it up every year. So, yes, what you're saying, I mean, it has a really good point. This is gonna be extremely challenging. The Ravens have a lot to get through, and there's a lot to prove too. You know, was this a fluke win, or was this something to do, is this gonna be something more to do with the fact that Patrick Mahomes is better than
yeah.
Lamar Jackson, or, vice versa. It goes both ways.
Now, there's no doubt right now. There's no look as a Raven fan, and there was a moment that we had to have an argument between Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. There's no argument. Pat Mahomes is right now best quarterback in the league, and Pat Mahomes, what he's trying to do is trying to surpass Brady when he retires as the best
Sure.
quarterback ever. But Lamar Jackson and Lamar Jackson is a very
He's still a
prideful guy.
freak.
Yeah, and but he's very prideful, and he probably is looking behind him. He's like, "Who's the only quarterback that I really haven't beat?" Like
Yeah.
he has taken someone else against uh, the Buffalo guy,
Bill. Oh, Josh Allen.
Yes, but he has beaten Allen as well, right?
Yeah.
But Mahomes, I think he has beat him once, and he has lost 3 or 4 times. So definitely the Chiefs have the upper hand in that. So he can look like if you think about Burrow, the matchup between Burrow and Lamar, I think is 4-2 Lamar Jackson or 5-2 or something in that line. So definitely Lamar Jackson has the better of that. Saying that, this is a game that I think Lamar Jackson takes very seriously because the team because it's the defending champion and the Chiefs deal with this all the time. So not that the Chiefs don't have this target in their back to
Yeah.
back champions, right? They have the target. They know everybody's gonna come with the best game. The Ravens need to not get overly excited,
Mm-hmm.
play their game, right? Run the ball efficiently. For the rookies, try not to do mental mistakes. For the second year guys that they're putting in big starting roles, obviously try not to do mental mistakes. I think this is actually a little bit tighter. I think it's a field goal game, like you said, but
Yeah.
I'm actually bringing the score down because I think the defense will have the advantage at the beginning.
Okay.
I have a 17-14 Ravens, but I think it's going to be a nail biter. I think
Yeah, I do
similar
too.
to you, I'm going to go with Justin Tucker just kicking the field goal.
Hey, two best kickers in the league. It's always fun to watch them.
Yes. But this is going to be a tone setter for whoever of this team wins. I love having a Thursday night game, first game, because then you have like a mini bye before they play the
10
Raiders. I
days.
don't know who you guys play.
We have the Bengals, so it doesn't get much better. It's gonna suck.
Bengals are a good offensive team. Now, Jamar Chase is not practicing. We'll see what happens in that whole saga.
That's another saga. Yeah. But the thing is the Chiefs have the Ravens and the Bengals, bam bam. So that's gonna be extremely hard. If they lose to both, what does that say about Kansas City? I think that's really the biggest thing is that for the Chiefs, they just need to at least win one of the two.
Yep.
And is it week 1? I'm not sure. I mean, if I'm being honest, this is gonna be a really true test of how much the offseason mattered for Kansas City.
I think, Haley, whoever wins this game should go 2-0 because you have more time to prepare to the second match.
Yeah.
And both teams are really good. Now, you were asking me earlier, I'm sorry, I forgot to answer. How is the mood in Baltimore? I think it's
Yeah.
The mood in Baltimore is exciting. Like we are hyped. We have been hyped for 3 years now. We think this is our year. And I'm hoping this is our year. Lamar Jackson, we are lacking like every year receivers, but Derrick Henry's here. And my question will be again, Tom Monken is not like CEO. This is his first year coordinator. how are you gonna use Derrick Henry? Because if you think about how Derrick Henry is usually used, I formation, give him the ball.
Mhm.
But now, if are we gonna go shotgun, right? And when you go shotgun, what is that gonna do to the defense? Lamar is really good to reading when to give and when to keep.
Yeah.
And if you go for Lamar and miss, and Henry takes it to the second level, full head of steam, right? Now, after Henry, we had nobody because our second running back is injured, and then Justin Hill, I'm not a fan of him.
Yeah.
He can run 1 or 2 times, and that's fine. But we'll see how much mileage Henry has. That's another question. Zay Flowers, love Zay Flowers, hated what he did in the playoff game because he became a rookie. That game was all rookie mistakes.
It happens. I'm not upset about it, but yeah, he was the guy that everyone was worried about. And then when he did what he did, I was just like, okay, that'll do. That'll help.
I mean, Ladarius Need, that fumble was clutch.
Right. Not to discredit him, but still.
Yeah, and then but the whole taunting, you can't do that.
Yeah,
You're
mistakes were
losing.
had.
What are you doing? Pick up. We need to score. This is not the time to taunt. We're in the red zone. Cost you 10 yards. No, don't do that stupid shit. But now he's in the second year, learning lesson. It
Mhm.
pained me. That learning lesson hurt me, but learning lesson nonetheless. Before I let you go, what is your expectation other than championship? I understand Chiefs Nation is here
It's very
looking
Super Bowl or bust around here.
exactly 3P, first team to 3P. But what is your expectation record wise? You don't have to give me a specific record wise, but what do you think they struggle at the beginning? You think they're gonna be better?
I would say I was actually just talking about this on Bleacher Report. I'm going to have to give them, I think they win 12. They win 12.
Oh.
13, I would be really happy, but I think they win 12. I think that in the beginning, it's going to be a little dicey. They also have a bye week really early. So they're bye week and then they come back and then they have, I think it's like right after week 5, they have their bye week. And then so on week 7, they're facing their 6th team and it's the 49ers. So it's going to be extremely hard. They have a very hard early start to the season and they have a very sucky late season and they play a lot of games. I think they play 3 games within like a 10-day stretch or something towards the end of the season. Yeah, and they have so many
because of Christmas. It's because of Christmas. The Christmas thing did it.
The damn holiday, messes it all up. But yeah, so definitely it's going to be a hard stretch, especially when players get injured, right? And that's also a lot of contenders you're going to see late in the season. So I think Kansas City does a little bit of something like this. And I think we're going to see a little bit of that roller coaster again, hopefully a little more even keeled as they get through things. But I definitely think the beginning of the season is going to be a little dicey. And I think that the fair weathered fans are going to fall off saying, oh my gosh, the Chiefs are broken. It's never going to work. And you just have to realize if you got Patrick Mahomes and you got Andy Reid, having Travis Kelce is a bonus. Like this team will figure it out. They have found so many ways to win. I'm not concerned about them getting to the playoffs. We'll have to see how things go towards the end of the stretch, but it's really going to be not necessarily how the Chiefs do. How do the other teams in the NFL do this season? Because I think Kansas City, you can at least bank on them being at least consistent if what you've seen from them in the past 5 seasons wasn't just, a fluke. So it's really going to be what a lot of other teams do and a lot of other teams, what they bring to the AFC, because the AFC is the hardest part. I mean, I think it's just stacked this year, the quarterback play especially. So expect this. So I can't even put my money on what's going to happen. I just think it's going to be whatever I tell you, the exact opposite.
Fair enough. Yeah, the AFC is stupid right now. It is. I mean, other than the Jets with Aaron Rodgers, they're the only good. We think they're a good team, right? We think they're gonna be good.
Yeah, you think.
But
I'll say this, Sonny. I bet you and I will be talking later this season.
I'm hoping this conversation is great. By the way, well, somebody asked you for a best barbecue place in Kansas City. I'll let you answer that later. But what I was gonna say is, other than Aaron Rodgers being the oldest quarterback on a potential good team, the rest of these quarterbacks are all young. Right? Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, you got Joe Burrow, Watson for the Browns are still young. Allen, you got CJ Stroud. We'll see what AR-15 is gonna do over there and with the Colts, right? That's interesting. There are a lot of young quarterbacks in this division, and it's crazy because it's funny because people are like, "Oh, the NFC." I'm like, I don't know, man. I think the Niners get there every year because the NFC. Philadelphia is a team that definitely is a good team.
Yeah.
They are pretty complete, although there's a lot of drama, unnecessary drama there for a team that is this good. But other than the Eagles and the Niners, for me, and then people love the Lions. I don't know if they love the story more than the Lions.
Yeah.
I
It's
think
hard.
the problem with the Lions is if you take them out of the environment of Detroit,
Mm-hmm.
even though they're a northern team, uh, they can struggle. I think it's the same thing like the Dolphins. You want to see the Dolphins later in the year. If you get them, like you guys got them in the playoffs in Kansas City. Yeah, Dolphins ain't gonna win in the cold. There's no way.
The
There's no
Finns
way.
the Finns froze. It
Yes,
wasn't good for them.
I think the Lions are the same way because even though they're in the northern,
Yeah.
they play in the dome. But our division is stacked, or the AFC stacked. And in the case of the Ravens, I think the Ravens play in the hardest division in the league. There's no, you can take a game off because the
It's tough.
Bengals, even the damn Steelers. Look, I hate the Steelers. Obviously, I hate the Steelers. But the damn Steelers, I've been putting them in the coffin for the last 3 years, thinking this team ain't gonna do anything. They're gonna be a bottom feeder.
Mm-hmm.
They make the playoffs. Last year they
Yeah.
made the playoffs. How they make the playoffs? So we do an AFC North podcast for right each of us, a
Mm-hmm.
podcaster for every team, twice a week. And I cannot tell you, even though I stream every week, twice a week for the past whole year last year, I cannot tell you how they made it. It's like how is this team making it to the playoffs? It's because of Tomlin. I think he has a pact with the devil. I don't know.
I think honestly, I think it's that guy right there. He
Yeah.
finds a way. He finds a way. But yeah, you hit the nail on the head. This is going to be one of the hardest seasons to go through because of how hard the AFC is and because of how the talent, the young quarterbacks just keep getting better. They're in their prime and we're seeing it, which is wonderful to witness as a fan
Yeah.
and a broadcaster. But I mean, it's gonna be a crazy year to go through. I'm excited, so I want Thursday to get here already.
I know. It's great. Okay, so last question. Softy. Oh, I think it's a softy. Well, barbecue. Best
Ah.
barbecue place in Kansas City.
Everyone says Joe's Barbecue. It's like the OG place here, but my favorite has always been you got to either go to Jack Stack or you got to go to Q39. Those are my two favorites. However, we also live up the street from one of the Jack Stack locations.
Mhm.
So I'm always getting whiffs of the meats all
Mm.
day long. And that sounds as weird as it does, but it's so good. It's so good. So you got to go to either Jack Stack or you got to go to Q39. That's on 39th Street. If you're traveling to KC, it's killer.
There you go, Thomas. So you can see. Anyway, Haley, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
I hope to see you again this year. Good luck. All her socials are in the bottom.
Appreciate it.
Is at her IG, her Twitter. You can go follow her. Thank you. And for all of you that have been in the live stream, I appreciate you guys being here. We'll see what happens. Great matchup Thursday night. You see the predictions. We basically have a field goal either way. That'll be a fun one. Take care, my guys.
Appreciate it, man.